name is Michael Bosey. Welcome to my podcast, Marketing Without the Marketing, where we talk about soft touch strategies for content marketing. And if you've been following along, you know that I'm in the middle of a series called Content Marketing 201, sort of next level strategies that go beyond what everyone else is doing. Because let's face it, content marketing has changed even in the past 3 to 5 years. And if we're going to stay ahead of the curve, we need to up our game. And that's what this series is about. Now, in the last episode, I talked about segmentation of an email list. And today I want to continue with the benefit of segmentation, automation. Segmentation of a list allows you to start doing some simple automation, which is the topic of today's episode, and then some more intermediate and advanced strategies, which I'm going to get into in the episode after that. So let's get started with why automation is so important. For small businesses like yours and mine, email is our conversion instrument. It's high-level permission to be in someone's inbox, right? Most people treat an inbox like a to-do list. That means we are being allowed to be on someone's to-do list. This is a privilege that we must not abuse. Everything we deliver must be something they will value, not something we value as the business owner. If you do that enough, keep providing value to them directly to their inbox. Do it enough, you'll build up trust, and with enough trust, you can at some point ask for a sale or a transaction. There's no transaction without trust in today's world, and we have to keep that in mind for every action we take. So for instance, when we send an email, we should be asking ourselves, will this build trust? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, skip it. We don't need to send that email. Now, in starting out with any email list, we're probably going to start small, sending a newsletter manually. That's fine for starters. We want to start employing our segmentation, start to talk to different constituents in our audience in a different way. But this is the great thing about email marketing. It does not have to be fully conceived before you get started. You can build it little by little. So we might start with a newsletter, but we're going to want to start adding some automation. In my opinion, this is required for small businesses right now because hey, it's very hard for us as small businesses with limited resources to be on hand at the front desk all the time, available 24/7. It's just not realistic. But with automation, of course, back to trust, we're going to want to be very, very careful. Adding some automation doesn't mean that you're just going to hammer someone's inbox. Got to ask the question, what can you do to bring some value to them? So let's start today with a couple of small steps that you can take to grow out of the newsletter phase and to do some things that start to use a little bit of basic automation. And we're going to start with 2 emails, a welcome email and a follow-up email. So let's start with the welcome email. So with your welcome email, it goes like this. They sign up on your subscribe page. For me, to see an example of that, that's controlmousemedia.com/subscribe. It's a good idea for you to have that on your site too, where you have your domain/subscribe. Do a double opt-in. They get a confirmation email. Great. They've confirmed they're on your list. Now, if you've promised them something like a download of an ebook or access to an online course or a free song or whatever it is that you promised them, that link that you promised should be included in the confirmation message. That would be the best way to do that. Just so that there's no confusion about it. If they signed up for an ebook, they're expecting to get that, hit them with that quickly right there so that you're not going to get an email from them saying, hey, where's my ebook? Right? So just put that right in the confirmation message. But what I do is I set up an email to fire about an hour later that says, hey, welcome to my list. I'm very happy to have you here. And here's what to expect. My email is a feed. You'll get a quick notification when I publish a new episode of my podcast. Whatever it is that you do or that you plan to do on this is set the expectation, right? So I've given them a warm greeting, an expectation, something of value, right? So for instance, that ebook, I may have given them the link in the confirmation message, but why not give it to them again? Just say, hey, here's that link again for that ebook, download, course, whatever it is. Or another strategy that I like is to give them a link to a series that I wrote. Like, so for instance, on SEO, I might give them the link or to a blog series or an overview of what you do, just so that they can get to know you. It's an invitation. It's not a requirement for them to do, but if they are interested, and they are the most interested they'll probably be when they've first signed up, it's not a bad idea to give them a little bit more there with some links to your site. But the important thing is that you've opened the lines of communication here. And I like to include something that says, hey, hit me back if something grabs you. Just reply to this email. I love to hear from people. And look, I get ideas for new episodes. I get questions from people. I get folks who sometimes might even become a client down the road. But think of what you've done here, right? You've set this up once, right? You've engineered this once, and now it runs to everyone who signs up. You've welcomed them, set their expectations, and open lines of communication. A great first step in your relationship, and you only had to build this once. Now, from there, you can start to build this out to include multiple emails in what we call a nurture sequence. But look, let's keep it manageable for now. I'm going to get into the more advanced stuff in another segment because, look, this is a big topic. But remember that I said automation can be built little by little, brick by brick. So let's show you what I mean here. Let's add to our welcome sequence with a follow-up email. So this is the second part. All right, with a follow-up email, the concept is simple. Let's just check in to see how it's going. To use an example from my list, I promise a list of free tools and templates on my site, which is at controlmousemedia.com/downloads. When someone registers on my site, they also sign up for my email list, right? So they have to confirm, and if they do so, they get the welcome email. In that email and the confirmation email, the link is there so that they always have it. But the next thing to do in this follow-up is that I set up an email to fire a couple weeks later, and this does so automatically. And it just says something to the effect of, how did you like the downloads? Anything in particular that's been useful or not been useful? Any suggestions for ones that are missing? And you can see what this does. It takes care of two things for me, right? One, they feel like I care about their success, which is building trust. And two, I get suggestions for how to make my offerings better, right? So I'm getting actual interaction with people who are making suggestions, some of which are very good and some of which I've taken action on. So again, all this happens automatically. I set this up to run, set it up once, and sure, I might be tweaking it here and there, but it runs all the time. And now I get to check in with people a couple weeks later automatically and see if they're using the materials that I supplied. Now again, you can build from there into more advanced sequences, conditional sequences, and sequences to a particular list segment only. And I'm going to cover that in the next episode. But I'll emphasize that you want to be really careful with automation. You don't want to over-communicate or send too many emails that drive people away. This makes logical sense, right? The exact strategy is going to depend on what kind of business you're running. And frankly, you want to develop your strategy and begin testing things to see what's going to work for you, your business, and most importantly, what's going to work for your audience. And here's the thing. If you're providing them with a lot of value in what you send, they're not going to mind, right? The goal here is that they're actually anticipating your messages because they're so good. Then they stay subscribed. They open every email that you send. Your open rate goes up. They start to engage more with you and your business. I mean, this is all good news. And this all starts with, what is your audience interested in, right? How can you educate or entertain or enlighten them or whatever about what you're doing to draw them into your world? And only you know that. Now, if you don't have this set up yet or something like this set up, this is easy to do. I'll give you a quick assignment. Set up these two things. Go and set up your welcome email. You're going to do the confirmation process. All that's fine. But set up that welcome email to fire an hour later, 2 hours later, the next day, whatever it is. Give them a warm welcome, set expectations, and open the lines of communication. And Do that this week if you can. Then move to the next step. Set up that follow-up email. If this is appropriate for your list, something of a check-in, or give them another blog series of yours or something else of value to build trust. And let me know how it works for you, or if you got any questions with the strategy or how to implement it. Now, you can watch how I do this in real time if you sign up for my list at controlmousemedia.com/subscribe. You'll get to see how I do it. You'll be on the list. You'll get messages based on what you select and how often you select and all that. And of course, that means we'll be connected too. So you can ask me about particular strategies or whatever. Now, I'll be covering a lot more on email in this podcast, getting more into strategies and especially the advanced stuff. So definitely, if you can, subscribe via your favorite podcast app, or, sign up for email notifications at controlmousemedia.com/subscribe and select podcast. And how often you want to hear from me, whether it's going to be, every time I publish a new episode, or whether you just want to hear from me once a month. You get to select that on my list. And I'm developing an online course, which is called Email Marketing for Business. And you can see all the courses that I offer at controlmousemedia.com/courses. All the stuff that I cover in any of these courses is based on work that I do in the field with clients today, this week. It's not marketing strategies that are from years ago that don't work anymore. Content marketing has changed a lot, which is the whole point of this 201 series, and why I want to help you up your game with strategies that I use, week to week. Highly practical, but look, all this stuff, you can do it too, and I hope that this stuff is helping you. Now, if you want some direct help where you and I can sit down one-on-one, just book a session with me, you can do so at controlmousemedia.com/strategy. Left links for everything that I just covered in the show notes so that they're super easy to just click through. You don't have to type them in. All right, hope that this gets you thinking. Hope that you can now get a welcome sequence set up, a follow-up sequence set up if you don't have these done already. And I hope that will help your business. All right, next episode, we're going to talk about RSS-based emails and nurture sequences, and I'll see you then.